Good morning. Welcome to the webinar. I'm Ben Newman. It's the 14th of June and it's 10:33 Central European Summertime. Now, it wasn't here yesterday, so was probably not a bad thing. There wasn't a huge amount going on yesterday. Monday's always a bit more volatile, a bit more unsteady at the start of the week. So today, I'm going to focus around the CPI data that's coming out of the UK at the moment, and then later on we'll be looking at the core retail sales and retail sales figures for the US. They're high impact, a very, very good indicator of economic health, so I'll be interested to see how that pans out. We're still in the throes of high volatility because of this Brexit thing that's still going on. It's becoming absolutely ludicrous if you watch the press. The arguments for and against and so on, but the upshot for us as traders is that it's still causing heightened volatility in the pound and in the euro. So until that happens, I think things are going to be a bit more volatile than they usually would do. It's kind of what we're getting used to now. So we want to just make sure that we're taking necessary caution around those. Now, looking at the figures as they come in, most of these are negative apart from the PPI input, which is coming way above forecast. Can everyone see and hear me, by the way? Could I get some response just to make sure audio and visual are okay? Yeah, okay, thanks, Kevin. Perfect, all right. So I'm going to go through and have a look at the, I'm going to have a look at the pound and see what's happened as a result of that. Now we know from recent markets or recent market conditions, certainly the impact from events has not really been reflected by the data that's been released. So I've seen on several occasions now where the data's come in positive or negative for a particular currency, but the impact, the trend impact has not reflected that. So we need to be very careful. Looking at this, the pound has just gained. It's sitting in a weak position against the euro. Look at that. So it's likely to carry on gaining in spite of, and it has here as well. So we've got, I'm just going to go through this. In fact, let me put it over so that I can show you it. But we've got this data here. All right, now this is the data that I'm looking at. CPI data, PPI up against forecast, but the rest of it down against forecast. Okay, now that should mean that the pound is weakening. Certainly the key data there's coming under forecast, but this PPI data is significantly above forecast, and that looks like that's given the pound some strength. But as I say, at first glance, really the pound should be dropping in value from that. So we'll just go back and just have a look at this. So this is the GBP CHF. Again, Swiss franc very accelerated against the pound. GBP JPY, I imagine, is going to be a similar story. Yeah, there we go. GBP USD. All right, so very erratic at the moment, but again, if we look overall, I suspect, yeah. So there's some good opportunities here. Now I'm having a few problems with my brokers. I can't get this one for some reason is not allowing me to look at trades or place trades, so I'm going to have to run with 3. Not ideal. We recommend 5. Make sure if you can, then have 5 brokers set up. And that way you're giving yourself enough choice and flexibility of expiry times, currency options, and so on. Just having a look at what we've got in terms of options here. I'm just going to show you where we ended up last week. I think I already went through this on Friday, but the last trades we placed, there you go. So we finished up very nicely in profit last week. Didn't trade Friday. I had a tutorial and didn't trade in the afternoon just because market conditions weren't allowing it. it's when the details came in on Friday, the impact really didn't reflect the data at all. So we just want to be taking it easy, making sure that these decisions are the right ones. But certainly this pound is looking like a good opportunity now. No huge rush to place these trades. I think the pound will gain over time. We have got some data coming out of Europe at 9, but I think at the moment this pound where we want to be trading. Probably if we avoid the Euro GBP, I'm just going to have a look at what. So this is coming positive. Employment change was positive at last check. So I think we're probably best off avoiding the Euro GBP, but the other ones we can trade. Jeremy, just having a look. Yeah, well, Jeremy, yeah, there's a good reason for that. It's because my webinars, I'll explain, my webinars are broadcast on YouTube. Now, YouTube are very strict in terms of what you can show, and they have to protect companies in case you're using their branding or anything like that to your advantage. Yeah, so what happens, unfortunately, with that particular broker, I'm not going to name them, but that particular broker, they have lots of sponsorship deals and stuff. So all of that stuff comes up on their page, and YouTube don't like it. Otherwise, we would use them. All right, so that's the problem. You know, as soon as I put the video up there, if I'm using that particular broker, YouTube take it down. All right, so that's why I can't use them, unfortunately. So let's have a look. GBP CHF. So I think this is going to count. I'm going to give it enough time, so 30 minutes or so on this. It's in favour of the pound. And I'm going to place the same trade, GBP JPY. GBP USD first of all. And then the GBP JPY. There it is. So 3 trades here. And there they are. So GBP CHF, GBP USD, and GBP JPY. All of them call trades. All of them with a 9:15 GMT expiry time. I'm going to place the same trades on my other brokers. The GBP CHF. Well, we're not getting a 9:15 expiry time, but 9:30 should be perfectly okay. Now, hopefully everyone understands why I'm placing these trades the way I am with the pound. Does it make sense, the reason why? We can see the pound's in a very weak position against counterparts. It's starting to gain now as a result of that PPI input data. And even though all the other data is negative, it's still causing a positive effect on this pound. So that's what we're basing the trades on. So hopefully that all makes sense to people. If it doesn't, or you've got any questions, please do ask. I would rather you fully understood the reasons why I'm placing these trades. Very important. GBP JPY, the final trade here. Again, 9:30 expiry time. Take 9:15 if you can get it, but not available on this particular broker. And finally, GBP CHF is not available here. Look, so I'm going to have to place. Well, all I'm going to do is place twice the amount on this one. Make up the trade amount. So GBP JPY. Jeremy saying, is the pound not falling away? It has been for the last few days, Jeremy, and it is dropping away now. But I think there'll be a second wind here for this pound. It's been gaining fairly solidly all morning, Jeremy. So it's dropped away a little bit now, but certainly historically, this data here that's focused around the pound is going to be enough to put it back up by the time our trades come in. Yeah, and plus the pound has been having the opposite effect of, yeah, Jeremy, it is right now, but trades do that. You know, you have to allow for fluctuations in them, and your trades have to be based on a slightly longer term in these cases to allow that currency to come back. So yes, it is dropping away as we speak at the moment, but I'm confident that it will come back in the time we've got our trades placed for. So up to you whether you place the trades, Jeremy. All right, I'm basing these on 30-minute time frame, so there's plenty of time for this to come back. And this counter movement, or this when the pound does bounce back, we should be in a good position to capitalise on these trades. So GBP USD, these have been placed in a more preferable strike point because they're lower. But we've been trading with this pound for some time, and we know that even though that data is predominantly negative, the effect on the pound, certainly how we've been looking at it in recent weeks, has been a positive effect on the pound. It doesn't follow logic really, but nothing does at the moment in terms of the way that markets are moving. That's GBP USD, and this is GBP JPY, which I've already placed on that. So this is now starting to move back. So we've got, let me just go back. I'm going to put the trades up on the software so that you've got them there. But see if we can have a look at a chart on these. So yeah, the pound's dropped away. You can see it has dropped away quite a lot, but it should start coming back. And it is in a very weak position against counterparts. So yes, it has weakened, but that should allow for a counter movement in the time our trades have to expiry. So the first trade here is a GBP CHF. Yeah, we're having to use less logical methods of trading, Jeremy. I don't know whether you've been watching the webinars recently and how they've gone in terms of the impact from the events, but maybe you haven't noticed. I don't know, but certainly we've been looking at the events, or the impact from the data from events, and then the corresponding impact, and it doesn't match. So we have to look at alternative ways of trading to combat that volatility. So that's just come to a halt now. You can see it start to flatten out, so we should see that pound come back. Let's look at GBP JPY, and that's dropped away quite a lot now. So it has put these trades in a disadvantage, but I still think there's plenty of time for these to come back. And I've seen really strange movement in terms of counter movement and so on. But just got to see these trades out. We've got till 9:15 on them, so we've got nearly 30 minutes. So GBP CHF, this is a call trade. Strike rate on this one is 1.36661 and expires at 0915 GMT. So that trade will be up on the software. So yeah, it's tough to know what to do with these trades. I will always try and trade, okay, and certainly how it appears, if I compare it to what we've seen in recent markets and recent events around the pound and so on. Yeah, absolutely, Jeremy. But when I started placing these trades, it wasn't falling, it was gaining. So but nevertheless, we're placing the trades with enough time on them that this should come back. But the pound was gaining when I started placing the trades, and it should start doing that again. So yeah, but you're in a position where you can now get a better strike point, so you should do that. Okay, if you want to place these trades now, you've got a better strike point, and that'll put your trades in a stronger position. All right, so you should remain in control of these, Jeremy. All right, this is the trades I'm placing, but if you see a more beneficial strike point from placing the trades later, then that's what you need to do. So trade number 2 is the GBP USD. This is a cool trade as well. Strike point on this one is 1.41511 and expires at 0915 GMT. Jeremy, does that make sense? I want that to make sense to you. I was placing the trades when the pound was still gaining after that event, and it should be your decision when you place the trades. So my trades are advisory, right? They're not telling you what to do. Just like I tell people so often, you know, there's not these trend alerts and so on. They're not instructions to trade, and even my trades here, they're not an instruction for you to place a trade. They're guidance. It's advisory. So if you can place the trades in a more preferable with a more preferable strike point because you've waited a little longer, then do that. You know, that's what you need to take advantage of. Does that make sense? I'd like a response on that, Jeremy, just so you understand, or I understand that makes sense to you. So trade number 3 is GBP JPY. Let's have a look. Yeah, GBP JPY. It's a call trade, and the strike point on this one is 149.747 and expires at 0915. Yeah, I think the problem is, Jeremy, often attendees of the webinar are taking what I'm doing as they must place a trade, and I think that's what happens in the entire industry, is that there's constantly products or methods of trading, 60-second ladder, one touch, whatever the brokers call it, that are constantly putting you under pressure to place more trades. And you should place a trade because you feel it's the right trade to place, not because someone's telling you to place it, or because I've placed a trade, or because there's a signal coming in that you think is telling you to place a trade. It should be your decision. So if you can wait for a more preferable strike point than I've got, then do that. You know, I'm placing the trades. I'm tied to the placing the trades on the webinar. I will always try and place trades on the webinar, but we have to remember that there can be. This is starting to come back now. We can see that there. So let's have a look at there we go. So these we can see now starting to come back up. So certainly, Jeremy, and anyone else watching, if you've managed to place the trades at this more preferable strike point after this pound has dipped away, then you're going to be in a better position for these trades to come in. So hopefully you've managed to do that, and you've got an advantage over my trades. That's the whole point, is that of course I want my trades to come in, but if you've managed to get a more preferable strike point than I have, your trade should be in the money by now, certainly. And yeah, I mean, I'm still in a position where I need these to the pound to gain a bit more to get these trades back into the money. But anyone that was able to place the trade at that more preferable strike point is going to be in a good position now. So Jeremy, out of interest, did you place the trades at that more preferable strike point? Yeah, okay. So hopefully everyone else has done the same as well. Doesn't seem to be a lot of correspondence there. Who else has placed trades? And hopefully they have. If you place them just after mine, then you will have gained that advantage of getting that strike point at the lower position. Now, of course, mine, I'm just waiting for this pound to come back. Danny, you did the same. Okay, so hopefully you all got that more preferable strike point there. But I think this pound will come back. It's looking like it will. It's just sitting weak against the Swiss franc at the moment. We'll just give this time. So we've got another 20 minutes, over 20 minutes on these trades, even longer on some of them. These ones don't expire till 9:30. So we've got plenty of time. Vince placed at a better strike point already, 2 or 3 in the money. Perfect. Well, hopefully all of you are getting that advantage. These have got quite a way to go, and I expect the pound to come back in that time. So I'm not going to place any more trades. I'll go through the results of these trades on this afternoon's webinar. And this afternoon's webinar will be focused around core retail sales and retail sales figures for the US. There's also import prices coming out at that time as well. Thanks, Danny. I appreciate that. Danny just giving some feedback there. Well, it's good to know. You know, I want it to be, well, I'm explaining to be understandable, and I also want it to give you the control of how you're placing your trades. You know, the industry, unfortunately, is full of people that will try and take control of your trades and ultimately your money. You know, I believe that it should always be your decision whether you place a trade. You should understand why you're placing the trade, and you should have the control over that trade. So that's what the aim of the webinars is, to give you guidance on how to place the trades, and then for you to, if you can, get a more preferable position on the trades, then do that. This pound's now starting to come back. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's starting to move against the Swiss franc as well, so these should be back in the money fairly soon. Jeremy, just to be clear, yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, Jeremy, I know, I understand that. But what I didn't want to do was leave it so that you thought that you had to copy my trades exactly. I mean, this is guidance, and if you're in a position where you benefit from that, sometimes it will go the other way. You know, if you place the trades after mine, you're going to lose the benefit of some movement, and that can affect the trades as well. But listen, that's unavoidable. There's going to be variables in there between my trades and yours. There just will be. So sometimes that's going to work in your favour. Sometimes it won't, but the trades themselves, I usually try and get enough of a time frame on them that it shouldn't matter. That strike point shouldn't be so critical because the time the trader's got is enough to pull it into the money. So these two certainly moving in the right direction for us now. So it's just this Swiss franc pairing that we need to pull up as well. So has anyone else got any further questions before I wrap things up? This afternoon, as I say, we will be focused around those US events, and we'll see what opportunities we've got available at that point. But has anyone got any further questions before I go? No? Okay, well, I'll wrap things up then, and I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20 my time, 14:20 Central European time, and I look forward to seeing you all then. Thanks for joining me, and I'll go through the results of these trades at that point. Here we go. So this pound now really starting to pick up. So two of them back into the money, as you can see, and this is the movement that I was waiting for. You can see these coming back into the money now. So even though that dipped away, Jeremy, hopefully that demonstrates the point I'm making, is that we're placing the trades with enough time frame for this pound to see that counter movement, which I was expecting. You know, it was dropping away, but there was positive in there as well. And we've seen the pound sitting very strong in spite of a lot of negative press around the future of the UK economy and so on. So you can see these now just about to come back into the money. We've got a bit more time on these till 9:30 on these ones, and let's have a look at these two now in the money, very firmly in the money, and we can see here. So this just demonstrating the difference in the strike point as well, and the advantage that has given. So if all of these come in, which they look like they're going to do now, then we'd be sitting. Yeah, $720 in profit. We are slightly limited in terms of broker options, but it certainly looks like these are going to come in now. So there'll be decent profit for this morning. I'll go through the results this afternoon on this afternoon's webinar, but these are now looking very likely to come in. So that'll be a good start to the day, the start of the week, as I wasn't here yesterday. So look forward to seeing you this afternoon. Thanks for joining me.